Hello, and welcome to the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. We're going to take a journey through vulnerability so that we can reach clarity, healing, growth, and success. You're going to learn some things about you, you'll learn some things about me, but most importantly, you will receive tools every episode that will help you to become better every single day. Enjoy Coach Therapy. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. It's something here for you today. You clicked on this for a reason. It's something that you need to hear. Maybe it's some clarity that you need. Maybe it's just what you need to get to the next step in your healing. So ultimately, you can reach a place of success. I'm excited that you're here. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Now, if you don't know, every episode we start with vulnerability. And I lead with vulnerability because I realize that the only way that we can get to healing and success and all of those things is really through vulnerability. We have to be real with ourselves. What's going on with you? What are you feeling? What are you dealing with? What have you hidden and tucked deep, deep, deep away? What are those things? And those are the things that are really the keys to your future. So let's unpack, shall we? um, I really want to talk about what broke me is what blessed me. The situations in my life that have broken me down the most has led to some of my greatest blessings. I can say that now because I couldn't always say that, because when I was in the thick of the brokenness, it did not feel like a blessing. Not at all. In fact, if I'm being completely honest, there were moments where I was just angry, angry with those involved, angry with myself at times. And yes, I've even been angry with God. Like, yo, why, why am I dealing with this? Why am I facing this? And I was so broken that I found myself stuck in the bed. I found myself stuck in the same space. And it felt like a cycle. Like every day it was like, wake up, darkness, tears, pushing through, exhaustion, do it again the next day. And that seemed to be the cycle. And there was no joy. There was no light coming in. It was only just me soaking in what broke me. And when I was navigating through a stage of brokenness, I learned something about pain. Pain is very selfish. And what I mean by that is that pain does not care what it destroys, who it infects, who it hurts. Pain can literally take over our lives, and it can make us abandon our visions, our dreams. Pain can even make you abandon yourself because it can get so unbearable that you can literally drown in pain. That's why I call pain selfish, because once you experience pain, it can get so great until you're just like, I, I ain't got nothing else left. And I know what deep pain feels like. For all of us, we have a different story of how we experience pain. For some, it's grief. Others, it may be heartbreak. It may be self-inflicted. It's different variations of pain and brokenness. But if you live long enough, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I can remember just being brokenhearted, really, really brokenhearted, and just not understanding, like, yo, why am I dealing with this? Why is this happening to me? And sometimes we tell ourselves this story like, I didn't deserve this. Um, and we feel like that. And there are some things that we face that we don't necessarily deserve. However, I've learned that my brokenness have led to my greatest blessings. But I couldn't get to the lesson of blessings until I really navigated through the brokenness. And what I mean by that is I had to stop being a victim of what happened to me, and I had to shift. For a long time, I found myself in a place of survival mode. And usually, when you go through something traumatic, like even if we take it like physically traumatic, and you're in that space where before they get you to healing, it's stabilization. Let me get you stable. And I had gotten to a place of like, after I went through heartbreak, I got stable, but I just stayed in stable condition and it just turned into survival mode. But I had reached a place where I was well enough to start healing, but I stayed right there in survival mode. That means I did the bare minimum, just enough to survive, just enough to get up every day, just enough to do what I had to do, but I was not healing because I was just kind of wallowing in the pain. And a lot of times when our pain is justified, we use that as an excuse to stay there. Let me say that your pain is valid. What you've been through is real. But I don't want you to stay there because every day that you stay stuck in the brokenness and in the pain is another day that you are forfeiting your blessings. It is so many lessons that come from heartbreak. And for me, at first I didn't understand. I was like, I really went through deep heartbreak um, in a relationship, and it really caused me to second guess my value. And I'm like, Lord, what do I even bring into the table? Like, I was so down on myself, and I began to internalize the fragments of my life. Like, I internalized them and I made them about me. I no longer was able to look at the situation as broken. I became broken. And the more I internalized what I was dealing with externally, the more stuck I became. And here I was at a place where I was ready to heal. I was at a place where it was time for me to progress, but I was just like, no, I'm still in pain. But blessings are on the other side. And so I got to a point where I was like, I'm going to either stay stuck here or I'm going to move forward. And the thing about making a decision, because it's a decision every day, a decision to move forward, is that you still have to do it in the presence of pain. Just because we decide to move forward doesn't mean that the pain subsides. Not at all. You have to make a decision that I will do it with pain. I will do it while I'm still broken, because healing typically happens as we take the first steps. We get stronger as we progress forward. It's like you feel weak initially. You feel like I cannot do this. I don't have anything left. And you're stuck. But you have to decide. That is the first step. Is deciding not to remain there. I know what it is to feel like I don't have a choice. But I really did. And there's someone listening to this podcast and you feel like you don't have a choice. You feel stuck. You are in so much pain and you're hurting so much and you feel like you've lost so much and you don't feel like it's worth it and you don't know where to begin. Can you just make a decision today? A decision to try. I felt like I'm just through with people. You ever get hurt so bad that you just like, I'm through. People are, ooh, mm-mm. And the crazy thing is, what hurt me the most was the thing that is required of me and my purpose. I'm like, how can I be through with people and I'm supposed to deal with people? And so it was the brokenness that really blessed me because now what I understand is the things that I went through that broke me down to the core is the things that I am able to help with people with today. I'll give you something very specific. One of the things that broke me when I was in college, I was raped. And you talking about broke me down? Yo, I was singing on a praise team every Sunday, doing my thing, living in Atlanta by myself. My parents were in New York at the time, and I was just living my life. And then one random October day, I went through the most horrific situation with a classmate. And I was just a couple months shy of my graduation, and I did not have the energy to deal with it. And I told myself, if I deal with this, it'll break me down. I will unravel. I won't even finish school. And so I just stayed in a place of survival mode. I needed to survive long enough so I could walk across the stage. Well, that survival mode lasted for years. And I do mean years. It lasted. It lasted so much so that it affected my dating life. It lasted so that I was just afraid to show up and interact with people. And I was just broken. My spirit was broken behind it all. And it was that I needed to heal. Little did I know when that happened, Coach Q what? I didn't even know who Coach Q was. Had no idea. It was not even a thought. It required me going through that because I remember the very first time that I spoke at a women's event and I shared my story. There were so many women crying and coming up to me and saying, thank you, because that happened to me and I've never been brave enough to share it, or just to be able to see you and what you're doing and to see that you've overcome that. And I was like, wow, what broke me blessed me. But I wasn't able to see that as long as I was nurturing the pain. And you know how we nurture pain? We nurture pain by laying in it, by just sitting in it every day, by not forcing ourselves to do more, by not getting the help that we need, by allowing your potential to go to waste with every painful day. I know it hurt. I know it changed your life. In fact, it changed you. And you have every reason to give up. And nobody wouldn't even look at you like you was crazy if you didn't have the strength, or if you didn't find the strength to show up. But it's in you. There's more. There are blessings connected to you overcoming your brokenness. I know, take it from someone who really knows what that is. And so this episode is short today because I really want you to think about that. I want you to think about where you are, and I want you to not allow yourself to stay stuck there any longer. Make just a decision that you're going to get up, a decision that you will not be defined by what has happened to you, a decision that you are more than your pain. You have more power than the pain that you feel. There is a blessing on the other side of pain. It is up to you to cross over the threshold. I see you because I am you. Sure, I'm Coach Q, but I've been through some stuff, and I just want to be proof. I want to be proof that, hey, it gets better. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. The way it started is not the way that it will end. There is so much more to the story. There is joy after this. None of us have the perfect path, but we have the power to overcome. Thank you for tuning in to this week of Coach Therapy. If you don't do anything else, make a decision. Make a decision about what you're going to do. And watch the blessings start to unfold. You've made it this far, and you will continue to do so. Take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.